and welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today, I will be your host. Today's show, we are actually doing a week 4 NFL preview. As if you're looking at this broadcast right now, some of the games are currently going on. So we'll be talking about that. But I'll also be previewing some of the games that are going to be later in the afternoon going into Monday Night Football. I have some film study as to why the Dolphins have been very successful and why they are off to a 3-0 start. So I'm very excited about that, guys. It's the first time I'm actually bringing film via Madden 2024. I'm going to actually be breaking down coverages and a play out of the Dolphins playbook and showing you why they're successful there. I'm also going to be talking about some of the key matchups that are on the schedule today. You know, it's a lot of teams that they're starting off 3-0, whether it's the Dolphins, the Bills, whether it is the Eagles who are coming in 3-0 against Washington, who is a pretty feisty team, talking about possibly an upset alert for the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots. And we'll also be talking a little bit about maybe an upset alert with the 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals, which I think is going to be a great game today as well. So before we actually jump into the content, let me first and foremost thank Spotify, which is now Anchor Podcast, for going ahead and being our platform. I want to go ahead and thank the sponsors out there who have put sponsorship on the show and the fans out there who have actually listened and followed our show to help us drive storylines and content to the show. I can't wait to bring you guys some more content as the weeks go along. So if you're looking for the links to the Spotify, it'll be down in the show notes below. Also, too, you can catch us on YouTube, which is Real Talk Sports with Rico. We will be doing some live streams, guys. I've got that in the process of set up here. So you're going to get some exciting content to go. So before we, actually, that takes care of the house cleaning. Let's go ahead and jump right into the content. And let's start off with, looking at these key matchups here. And let's start off with the not Dallas. We'll start off with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders here. So, this is a team that the Eagles are coming in 3-0. Obviously, they're looking to get back to the Super Bowl. This is a team that I actually picked in the NFC East to win it again. I think that they were the best team top to bottom. I've been talking about how the rich have gotten richer several times with this team, and it's because defensively they have gotten so much better. A lot of that has come with a lot of the Georgia Bulldogs that they have actually drafted on defense. And then they also, too, got, I believe it's the young man that came over from the 49ers as well. They got their defensive lineman, too. So, they've just basically updated their front defensively. And then surprisingly, their secondary was pretty good last year. It's been struggling this year. I believe right now going into this current football game, they are actually 30th in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. So, but if you're looking at the podcast right now, currently they're at the halftime. Actually, Washington is winning this football game 14-7, courtesy of Sam Howell, who is 12 of 16 with 158 yards. Brian Robinson, the talented running back out of Alabama, 8 carries, 17 yards there for Washington. Terry McLaurin having a good game, 4 receptions for 58 yards. Remember, I told you just a few moments ago that the Eagles do struggle on the back half as far as defending here. There has been a fumble loss by both players that play running back for Washington. Both Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson have both went ahead and fumbled the football. On the other side of the ball with the Eagles right now, Jalen Hurts, 9 of 11, 69 yards. DeAndre Swift has already got a touchdown. He's been one of the hottest players in the NFL, certainly a guy you want to pick up on your fantasy team. A.J. Brown, 3 receptions, 36 yards for him. And then you have Devontae Smith, 2 receptions for 13 yards. I actually had him having a big day today. So I think that Washington right now, they're winning this football game mainly because they've been able to efficiently stay in good down situations, okay? Because last week with Washington, Sam Howell was sacked 8 times, okay? So generally when you're sacked a whole bunch of times, and usually that happens on your second and third downs, it's going to push you back from that down marker. The further back you can get a team from going to that down marker, meaning that on third down, I'm looking at more like 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 10s, even in some cases, 3rd and 20s. You have a better chance defensively of getting me off the field. And so I think that Washington is doing a terrific job right now in executing there. They're winning the total yard battle in this one, 192 yards to 86 yards. So they're getting a lot of chunk plays at this point in time. The average per play is breaking down to 6 yards per play versus the Eagles, who are 4 yards per play. Remember, that's huge because if I'm getting 6 yards a play, that means that generally if I need 10 yards, that's 12 yards in 2 plays. That means that Washington is doing everything that they need to do as far as getting up the field and getting into favorable situations. And Sam Howell has been terrific at being a game manager. I think a lot of people were coming into this thing with a lot of a panic attack because he had the 8 sacks and he didn't look very good last week against a tough Bills team. And I had told you guys, I knew that this was going to be a test for Washington against the Bills. This is another opportunity for them to step up against an elite football team and prove that they are for real. Right now, they're doing so as they have just got a field goal. Actually, it's not halftime. It's 1:39 left in this game, and Washington has just got a field goal, and they're getting ready to kick the ball back off to the Eagles. So, terrific there for Washington. They've only allowed 2 sacks. So is Philadelphia. The third down efficiency has been pretty good for Philly. They're right around 50%, but they just continue to keep stalling out on some drives. And the one thing that I love about Washington right now is they've been the better disciplined team. They only have 2 penalties compared to Philadelphia's 6. And then also, too, the time of possession, Washington is winning that 17 to 11 minutes, that is. So that means that Washington is keeping that potent offense off the field. I have told people a lot of times that if you're playing against a potent offense, a la the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs, the one thing that you want to do to help your defense is you want to keep their defense on the field and you want to keep the opposing offense off the field. So Washington is doing a good job of that. And not only are they keeping them off the field, they're also converting and they're scoring, which is going to put a little bit more pressure on that offense when they do go on the field, which means that Philadelphia could be pressing, which means that Philadelphia could possibly get schemed into the mistakes that way as well. So, kudos to Washington. I feel like that this is a key matchup for both teams. I have them up there for the matchup of the week because for 2 different reasons. The Philadelphia Eagles want to prove to themselves that, they are on the Super Bowl hunt once more, and they feel like they can get back here and they can solidify themselves and get their Super Bowl ring. Washington has got a ton of new energy over there. They've got a new management group. They have a new quarterback in Sam Howell, who they've actually drafted. I've told you about the failures that they've had trying to draft a franchise quarterback or really keep one. This is the first time in some time that they haven't done a patchwork job where they've either gone out and gotten a Mark Brunell back in the day. They got Alex Smith. They got Fitzmagic. So Fitzpatrick came over there as well. So Washington has been notorious on going out there and getting quarterbacks that have been veterans, and they haven't really invested in themselves in the draft and got a quarterback. So this is the first time that, you've seen this in a long time where they've had a drafted quarterback out there. And I think the last drafted quarterback to actually do well for Washington was Kirk Cousins. So that's one matchup of the week that we definitely wanted to talk about. The next one is going to be the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And I've actually got some film study to go along with that. So I'm so excited about that. So everybody was really wondering about the Buffalo Bills because they're saying, man, they took a tough loss against the Jets. And it was tough because Aaron Rodgers went down. I think that if Aaron Rodgers were in that game, had he beaten the Bills, I don't think that the Bills would have taken that much heat. The fact that Zach Wilson was able to come in there and Breece Hall coming off the knee injury have such success against a Bills unit that was pretty stellar, actually, defensively. You saw that last week against the Washington Commanders. was shocking for them. And so they have really been on the reel. They have won 2 straight. Now they're going into a tough game here at home against the Miami Dolphins, who have just set history last week against the Denver Broncos. And might I add that I think that, and I'll talk about this, I think that the Denver Broncos literally have a target on their back because of Sean Payton. I think that a lot of the things that Sean Payton said on air, as an analyst about some coaches and teams, I think some teams have taken that personal. And I think teams have really tried to take it to the Denver Broncos lately. And that's why it's been a tough 0-3 start for them. I mean, it is the NFL. You can win on any given week, but I think you don't want to give people bulletin board material and extra motivation. So that's my thought on them. We'll be talking about them here in a moment. But you're wondering here with the Miami Dolphins how they're going to continue this success. I've said in the long term, they're going to have a healthy Tua in order for them to be successful. This is a contract year for Tua. I believe he is running at the end of his rookie deal. I did speak to somebody about this, and I think that this is some extra motivation. Right now, if you are looking at this football game, the Bills are actually up in this one 28 to 14 here. I believe that the Bills actually just scored. It is 2:58 to go here in the second quarter. And right now, Buffalo's put up 14 in the second. They have also put up 14 in the first. It's only been 7 for the Miami Dolphins in the first and second quarter. Obviously, if they scored 70 points last week, we could assume that they can put points up in a hurry here. But Buffalo taking care of business right now, as they are getting a lot of the chunk plays and things like that. So statistically right now in this one, looking at the Dolphins, Raheem Mostert, 2 rushes, 3 yards. Devon Aiken, 3 carries, 16 yards. This was a guy that I was huge on out of Texas A&M. I raved about his speed. I thought that this guy reminds me a lot of like a Marshall Faulk or a lot of like an Austin Eckler, but a lot bigger, more physical. I definitely see him being an RB1. It looks like he's in RB1 territory right now. They're using him a little bit more than Raheem Mostert. Right now, Tua, 12 of 15, 139 yards. He doesn't have a touchdown. He doesn't have an INT. Tyreek Hill, who's literally been setting the league on fire lately, just 2 receptions, 39 yards. Raheem Mostert, 2 receptions, 27 yards. And shocking to me, Jalen Waddle, only 1 reception, 11 yards, and only 1 target. I'm going to talk about him in the film study. There has been a fumble by Raheem Mostert and a fumble by Tua as well. Neither of those have been lost. But again, what am I talking about here? Whenever you're knocking the football loose, whenever you're getting sacks and things like that, you're pushing teams back from that marker. The harder it is for them to convert on third downs, the better off your team has in success overall. So it looks like the Bills are doing a terrific job as far as generating pressure and really keeping Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle at bay, which is what the Bills wanted to do. And I'm going to show you some of the coverages that they like to play mainly. On the other side of this thing, Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns. He's 14 of 16. He has 201 yards. Latavius Murray, I talked about him in the preview show for the season. I thought that he could be RB1. Right now he has 34 yards. James Cook has their lone touchdown with 24 yards. Stephon Diggs, is a guy that he is the guy there. 5 receptions, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 6 targets. So it looks like he's only missed 1 target, and I'm not sure how he gets loose out of all the wide receivers that the Bills have. You have to keep a hand on this guy. As far as fumbles being lost or anything like that, it doesn't look like there's been really any turnovers thus far that I see here in the stats. So the Bills doing a good job and really letting their offense kind of rev up. I think that their offense mimics the Bills a lot. Yes, they don't have necessarily the Jalen Waddle effect. They do have Gabe Davis, but the Bills and Dolphins are very similar in the way that their style of offense. The quarterback is a little bit more dynamic, I'd say, for the Bills because Josh Allen kind of serves a bit more as a running back. Tua can use his legs, not better served using those legs because I think he kind of gets into some trouble. A lot of the injuries and things like that have kind of been where he's been in the pocket trying to scramble around. And those have kind of led to some injuries. Josh Allen is a little bit more versed as far as getting out of the pocket, getting down, and really picking up good yards. The one thing he does well, too, is he throws a good fake on the run, too, as well, to get defenders kind of leaping to create some angles. But anyhow, I thought that this is going to be more of a huger game for the Dolphins than it is for the Bills, even though I think the Bills need this one for their confidence after that week one. I think it would bode well for them to get to 3-1. And I think for the Dolphins, if they're able to get to 4-0, this would be huge for the actual Dolphins here. As I'm going to give you a quick update, it looks like that the Bills have just forced a fumble here, and it is recovered. And it looks like that the Bills are now at the Miami 31. So they're on the march here. And it looks like right now they have 2:13 to go here in the second quarter. So they've got a ton of time and they're in business and getting ready to possibly put up some more points on the Dolphins. So let's go to the film study. Let's talk about why the Dolphins have been successful. And then I'm going to probably show you why maybe the Bills are being successful right now in this game. So via Madden 2024, I'm actually going to throw up some gameplay here. And this is actually showing you some of the things that the Dolphins like to run and some of the things that the Bills like to run here. So if you're looking at the screen right now, and I'm going to go to a full screen here for you guys. So you're looking here at a single back set here for the Dolphins. You're looking at basically they have 4 receivers. You're seeing 2 over here to the right, 2 over here to the left. And notice that you have a Tyreek Hill to the left. You have Jalen Waddle over here to the right. You also have the Bills here who are actually into a 4-man front. They've got their corners and linebackers up, and they only have 1 safety back here on the back line, which indicates that what they're running here is a cover 1. Okay, so it's a cover 1 against essentially a 4 wide receiver set. So we're looking at Tua right now. He's obviously got to see this right now. He's a safety right here, Micah Hyde at the top, which is always going to indicate that you're into a cover 1. And this is what it looks like from the back line. Okay, so your safety is in a tough situation because he's going to have to make a decision here. And like I said, you got 2 of the more talented wide receivers and one of the most potent offenses in NFL history on the field right now, right? All right, so let's roll the film a little bit more here. So we got the play snap, and it looks like that the Dolphins are coming with a play fake. So in this situation, this is a lot of what the Dolphins like to do is run play fakes. This is what the 49ers did. Remember the coach that came over to the Dolphins. This is a lot of the schemes that the 49ers run. So the first thing they do is they run this play fake. They've got Tyreek Hill getting up on top of the corner. Look at the linebackers here inside. All right. So with that play fake, you're holding one. You got one pointing here. That gives Tua just enough time to let these guys get down the field. It was a clean release for Tyreek Hill, who's now he was streaking in the middle of the field. It looks like he's turning for a deep end. All right. Because he's held that linebacker just enough, there is a little bit of a window, but it looks like the linebacker has recovered and he's kind of in that window. Now you have Waddle here on the right side who looks like he's starting to run an in. He's already beat the corner off the line, all right? And then you have Micah Hyde, and essentially he's got Tyreek Hill running at him, and he's got Jalen Waddle here. So he's got to make a decision, all right? He's already been a little frozen with the play fake, and then he sees this. You see Tyreek Hill kind of break in. The linebacker recovers for the Buffalo Bills. Now, because that corner was not able to put any pressure onto Jalen Waddle, he got a free release. He's coming in the middle of the field. Look how he holds the corner on his back hip right here, right? He's running directly at the safety, and then he breaks off of this, right? The safety is so deep back. He's already been caught with the play fake. He's thinking, is Tyreek Hill going to hit me? He's not. Then you see Tua, and what he's seeing, he's got a clean pocket. Von Miller and these guys aren't able to get a pressure. Clean release from Tua down the field. He's got a clean window to get this thing. You see Von Miller coming into the play a little bit late, right? So this is what it looks like if you don't get enough pressure, because one of the best things to help your secondary is to get good pressure up front. The Bills don't get that. You hit Jalen Waddle here. Huge play right there. And look at that. He's running freely. He's got some yak yards after the catch. The safety is late getting over there. And this is one play and one instance in why Miami has been so good. Because Raheem Mostert and Aiken have been so good in the running game, it has actually opened up the play fake. You're also seeing that generally the Bills and Coach McDermott, what they like to do is they like to run a lot of press coverage, okay? He's a defensive-minded coach. He believes in Micah Hyde. He believes in his Kaliko, the linebacker there. He believes a lot in Von Miller and these guys to create pressure. And I just told you that the Bills recovered a fumble. How did they recover the fumble? They're generating a lot of pressure up front. Your best asset to your secondary is to generate pressure up front. That's something that Michael Strahan talked about on the NFL Fox preview show. And just to relay this too as well, it looks like the Bills have actually scored another touchdown here. As it is now 31 to 14 with a minute 39 here. So the Bills are into some good business here as they are actually just kicking a field goal. Oh, excuse me. It's a 53-yard field goal. I'm sorry, not a touchdown. 53-yard field goal. Sorry about that, guys. 53-yard field goal that actually was cashed in by the Bills. So they were actually able to keep the Bills out of the end zone through the Dolphins, but the field goal attempt is good. So it's 31-14 with a minute 39. Still a lot to left here in the second quarter going into the half. But going back to it, though, yeah, Matt Milano, these guys like that have been able to generate pressure, and he's actually got a forced fumble today. Speaking of him, they've got Tre'Davious White out here as well, with the pass deflections on the back end. So the Bills play a lot of physicality football on that side of the ball. And I just showed you an instance where the Dolphins can win. I'm going to show you another instance here where if the Dolphins want to come back, these are some of the things that they're going to have to do against some of that tough coverage. So now I'm going to add another play here. We're going to go back to it. This is kind of the same formation in the sense that you have the single back, you have the two wide receivers split out here. You'll notice that you actually have Waddle a little bit more up on the line, and you have your tight end here. He's a little bit back off the line. So it's a little bit different, but it's still a full wide receiver set. This particular situation is a 3rd and 6. The Dolphins are going to need to convert here. They're going against that 4-man front. It is a cover 1. You're going to notice Micah Hyde here on the back line. Let me show you what they do here. So this is not going to be a play fake in this sense. They're going to run a drag route to get Waddle, and you're going to see what the effect has been with Tyreek Hill and what he does because he's been so explosive going down the field. All right, so we're looking at the same set, all right? And so I'm going to speed it ahead here. So you're seeing the linebackers, you see the cornerbacks, you see everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Again, once again, you have Micah Hyde back there on an island. So here we go, running this play, a little bit more slow developing. And so, Tua has to see these kind of things going into this. You know that if you're the Bills, the one thing you've got to do is you've got to generate pressure up front. You've got to get into Tua's face. You got to make him uncomfortable, which is what they're doing here in real life right now. So Tua's going back. Immediately, you see Raheem Mostert starting to go off to the right. He's actually running a route into the route tree. There's no play fake. And now you're looking over here at what he's seeing. All right, so on Tua's left side, if he's dropping back because he's left-handed, you're going to see that he has Tyreek Hill right there. He's starting to run up on the corner. He's also got the tight end running up on the corner. So initially, it looks like they're running 2 verticals at me. All right, and so Waddle's on the other side of the field. Now, what's happening here as you're seeing this, look at all that space that's being cleared out now because Tyreek Hill and you have your tight end pushing this middle linebacker or additional slot corner out of the way. Now, that leaves Jalen Waddle all alone to come over the middle of the field here on this drag route. So he's able to push up and then across, and that really kind of gets you a lot of the trash out of the way when you run Tyreek Hill at you. Now, look at what he does to Micah Hyde. There isn't a play fake. And because of this, the last play you saw Micah Hyde kind of come up a little bit. This time you see Hyde kind of sit down a little bit. He's thinking, okay, Tyreek Hill is running a vertical at me. We have to be there for that. But he breaks off this. Okay. So he's breaking off this. And because he's kind of frozen me because I'm thinking it's going to be a vertical, now you have Tyreek Hill who has a corner route and he's looking like he has a matchup of a one-on-one right here on the corner. You're looking at a 3rd and 6. So you have two options. You can wait and you can go deep down the field for all the money and take a high risk, reward play going to Tyreek Hill, or you can get your first down with this check down for Jalen Waddle, who has excellent speed, your former college teammate. And look at all this open space. You hit him. He's already got a step on the corner, right? And this is how Jalen Waddle is able to work with Tyreek Hill. Even though he has one-on-one coverage, he's winning there. Micah Hyde had to make a decision. Either he's going to go topside or here. By this time, he's already beaten because he's had to stay flat foot with all that speed up there. And this is one of the ways the Dolphins beat you too as well. It's a lot of the things that you see in the NFL is schemes. And you're seeing right there what a scheme does and why it's essential to have playmakers. You see what Tyreek Hill and that speed does. I told you he's been on a tear as of late in the NFL. And a lot of the chunk plays he's been getting. So you have to assume that the Bills would want to take that away, which they're doing there. But there's other weapons on the field, mainly Jalen Waddle, which is why I'm shocked that he only has one reception here. So, I think that what you're seeing is that the Bills are doing a great job and staying up on them. They're probably running a little bit more press and rubs at the top of the route there, which is kind of throwing off the timing there, which I think is one of the things that the Bills could have done in this particular situation to probably break up that play or make it a little bit tougher so that their defensive front can get in there. And then also, too, you're giving yourself a chance on the back end to possibly get a good deflection or an interception, one or the other. So these are two ways that the Dolphins have been able to run it up and get 70 points plus on people. And so that's just breaking down some of the films, guys. I hope you like that. We'll bring some of that back, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more crisper, guys. But that was courtesy of some Madden 2024 gameplay. I wanted to show you exactly how Tua and the Dolphins have been scoring so many points. Next up, another matchup that I want to take a look at this evening is going to be the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. I think that the Arizona Cardinals have a legit chance in winning this football game. They had a chance to beat the Giants, and the Giants were able to come back into that game and somehow get the comeback and win. Dallas, not so fortunate. Arizona was a team that I thought was literally going to pack it in. I seriously thought that Arizona was going to pack it in, and Arizona is not packing it in. At this point in time, Arizona is probably one of the more physical football teams that I've seen, which fits perfectly with the NFC West. I think this is why they have been so successful, I think, over the years when they've made their runs is because of the physicality. They had Watts. And what's more impressive about that is no J.J. Watts, no Budda Baker, no Patrick Peterson. And this team is playing well on defense. Like, I'm not sure if I know too many players that actually play for them on defense. And Joshua Dobbs has been incredible as far as being a game manager. James Conner has looked terrific as far as running the football. I mentioned that he's looked a lot like he was when he was with Pittsburgh, being an all-pro runner there. And Marquise Hollywood Brown, I want to say that I think that he's a lot better than the credit that I think a lot of people gave him. Like, I don't know if that, which is what scares me about the Ravens. Like, I don't know if they use wide receivers correctly or what, but he's looked really good in this offense because he's been featured. And he was the featured guy with the Ravens, but man, he's looked great. He's looked really good. And I was wondering, he had the injuries last year. He was having a good year, but he's looked really good. Deutsch and those guys have looked good. I think that they're going to put a lot of pressure onto the 49ers back end. And I think that they're going to keep Fred Warner and these guys really guessing a lot of the afternoon here. So I think that this is going to be a terrific football game. I think that this is possibly one that could be in upset alert. I think that, the one thing that the 49ers are going to have to do is they're going to have to run the football. And I think that this is the first time that they're going to face a team that has absolute physicality to match that power running style that they're going to come with Elijah Mitchell, who I think is questionable going into this thing, and McCaffrey as well. So, you've got Christian McCaffrey, you've got Elijah Mitchell. You've also got Purdy that sometimes runs the football, and then you'll have Deebo Samuel, who serves a little bit as a halfback as well. But he is coming into this thing nicked up, banged up a little bit with the ribs and the knees. So the 49ers like to run the ball. Arizona is a very physical team that likes to impose its will on you physically. So I have big questions about this one. Like, I think that this is upset alert. I can't speak. I think that this is maybe a game where the 49ers go down in this one, and possibly Arizona pushes to 2-2 for the record. So then lastly, let's look over here at another upset alert, and that is the possibility that I feel like the New England Patriots, they might have a chance against the Dallas Cowboys. This is at Dallas, so that is going to help the Dallas Cowboys. But Dallas has been a team where when the pressure is on, and I talked about it before, when they're supposed to go, up, they usually pretty much go down. They usually go south. So when they're supposed to go north, they usually end up, just going backwards and going the opposite way. And I think it mainly comes down to the fact that whenever you put a lot of pressure on the Cowboys, like whenever the Cowboys have to win a game, they're just not able to respond. And this is going to be huge. I think that the Patriots are playing with house money. This is, again, another defense that has been I think they're top 10 statistically in the run and pass, if I'm not mistaken. And Judon has done a terrific job. I think that their corner play has been excellent with Gonzalez, who they got over. Like, he is every bit of a Bill Belichick player. Like, he is the Stephen Gilmore, Ashanti Samuels. Like, this guy, Daryl Reeves, like, this guy is a shut down corner. He has gone against Garrett Wilson. He's gone against CeeDee Lamb. And he's gone against some tough, like, two other wide receivers. But in 4 weeks, he has given up 1 touchdown and I think like 15 catches. Like, 15 catches and 1 touchdown as a rookie, that's tough. Like, man, that is really, really good defense on the back end. And you've got to think, as a New England fan, if you can get any offense whatsoever, like any offense whatsoever from Mac Jones, you have to believe that the Patriots can really be on to something. You have to believe that there's a real possibility that, New England could really make some noise in this division. And it's funny because I think that New England, when I look at this thing now, with the way that they've been out there defensively, they're starting to remind me a lot of what the Jets are, right? The Jets have been predominantly strong on the defensive end, but they have been waiting for their offense to come up big. And I have said that Mac Jones, I don't think, is the guy. I've said that I think New England probably should go out and have gotten a Trey Lance. Like, I think that would have been a terrific fit and an experiment, I think, for New England. And I just think that, New England has to really look at this thing as a whole and figure out what they're going to do, because they're not winning in the 3rd and 6s. They're not winning in the 3rd and 5s or the 3rd and 4s. Like, they're playing mistake-free football. They're doing that, but they are not winning as far as going out here and converting. And that's what Tom Brady was able to do. Tom Brady was able to keep you on the field and really grind you out to go along with that good defense. Mac Jones, for whatever is going on, he just hasn't been able to stretch the field. And that's my biggest thing with him. He hasn't stretched the field. Now, to his credit, he doesn't have a wide receiver to really throw to. Like a wide receiver one has been out of the question for Mac Jones since he's been in the league. I think his best wide receiver one or best his best playmaker is probably going to be Ramade Stevenson. They have brought Ezekiel Elliott over there to kind of mitigate and take a little bit of pressure off going downfield and hoping to make those short yardage situations a little bit shorter. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to help. And, also, too, I was going to throw in there, too, with Gonzalez. He's been able to shut down A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, too, because they lost to Philadelphia as well. So that's where that statistic comes with the 15 catches and the 1 touchdown. But New England can win this game today. I think it's going to come down to, can Mac Jones stretch this field? Can Juju Smith-Schuster make enough plays? Can Ramade Stevenson keep the New England Patriots in manageable situations? Is he going to be the Austin Eckler, Marshall Faulk X factor where he's catching the ball, he's running the football for yards, and he's gashing the Cowboys? This is going to be a tough defense. And I question, can they keep their quarterback upright with all the pressure that they are going to face with Micah Parsons and company? You have Diggs on the back line as well, one of the better corners. You have Stephen Gilmore over there playing corner. You also have Ezekiel Elliott coming in with the Patriots. So in a lot of ways, I think that this game is going to be nasty. I think it's going to be physical. And remember, the Cowboys lost a physical game against the Cardinals last week. With Dallas, the one thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to get nasty. I think that they're going to have to get in the mud, so to speak. You've heard that term before, which means you're going to have to really dig it out. You're going to have to get the dog in you and the grind in you. You're not going to be able to finesse this football game. And that means that they're going to have to run Tony Pollard. He's going to have to be very effective. I think that they're going to have to minimize the amount of pressure that they're going to have to put on Dak Prescott. I feel like if Dak has to throw the football 30 to 40 times in this one, New England's going to win this football game because their secondary is elite. And I don't think that that's winning formula. I've never liked teams that go out there and throw it 40, 50, 60 times. Other than the Chiefs. It works for them, because a lot of the stuff that they're throwing are screens and stuff like that, which are actually extensions of the run. That's not Dallas's offense. They don't run a lot of screens and things like that. They run a lot of stuff where they're trying to get it downfield to CeeDee Lamb, who has been proven as a number one. But besides him, Dallas is very unproven with Gallup and those guys like that. Like, I don't like the wide receiver depth in this one. So if they have to get into something where they need to score points through the air, I like New England in this one. So I think that this is upset alert. I cannot get that out today. So with that being said, guys, that really, for the most part, is today's show. Guys, we covered why the Dolphins have been good. We're talking about the Week 4 preview matchups of some of the games that you're going to watch later on here. And we have actually gone over a little bit of the scores here. So quickly before I get off the podcast, I just want to update you here. The Bills are winning the football game 31-14, a late field goal going in the half for the Bills. The Bills are all over the Dolphins. Then the Panthers right now on the Vikings. And so 2 teams in winless island were the Bears, or 4 teams in the winless island. With the Bears, Broncos, Panthers, and Vikings. And somebody was going to give up their O today. And who is it going to be? I thought it was going to be the Vikings. Right now, it's surprising to me with a banged-up Bryce Young that they're winning 13-7. This has really been a disappointing year for the Vikings. And there has been talk that they may trade Kirk Cousins. Not sure where he would go. But hey, maybe New England. That would be a perfect fit if there is a trade. Now, 13-7 for the Panthers currently. They're winning that football game. And then the Bears are all over the Broncos, 21-7. Looks like that they are actually getting ready to get off winless island as well. That is 6:51 to go in the third quarter and 9:45 to go in the Vikings and Panthers game. So, wow, the offense is appearing for the Bears. It has been terrible. There was talk, I think, on the NFL on Fox Network today, And they were asking, what hope could you possibly give the Bears? And somebody said, well, the best hope is that they go ahead, tank the rest of the games. They get Coach Riley to come over from USC, and they get Caleb Williams. And I was like, wow, they just want to give up on Justin Fields like that. And I've been a firm believer. I believe in Justin Fields. I think that it's going to come down to just getting him some more wide receiver help. I think one of the bigger storylines coming out of this thing is that they actually have Chase Claypool sitting today. It's a healthy scratch. It looks like that he may be traded. He had said earlier in the week that they weren't using him properly, which I thought was an interesting story. So it just seems like there's a lot of dissension and a lot of, just they're not all together in that organization. So I don't know what it is with the Bears. I can't really place my finger on it, but it's something dysfunctional about that. And so moving forward, some of the scores, the Ravens all over the Browns, 21-3. If you've been following kind of the news there, Deshaun Watson was out with the shoulder injury. And I thought that, Dorian, I think, is it Dorian Finley-Smith? Let me take a look here. The quarterback here for the Browns, I thought that he would actually be a big factor for them. Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, sorry. So Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I'm thinking Smith, I'm thinking basketball. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA, I thought he was going to have a big day today. I had raved about him coming out of the preseason camp. I thought that he would possibly win the starting job at some point, but looks like the Ravens defense has been all over him. I think he's got 64 yards total in this one, and an INT. So as expected as a rookie, it's a little bit tough. But the Ravens on their way here to 3-1. The Browns here looking to fall back to 2-2. And they've had like a tough week of injuries, man. I think Ngoku, the tight end there, he actually, it looks like reportedly he had burns on his hand and his face. But he was questionable, but he's actually playing today. He came in with a mask on his face. So, prayers and thoughts go out to him, but he's playing today. So another update too is the Texans and Steelers. The Texans, I don't know how this is happening, but they are all over the Steelers, 16-0, 10:55 to go in the third quarter, although the Steelers are in the red zone right now. It looks like, they just hit a field goal, so it's 16-3. Still a lot of time in this one, but man, I mean, CJ Stroud. I talked about CJ Stroud last week. I said that maybe CJ Stroud was the best quarterback in this draft. He's 10 of 20 right now, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. Man, I'm trying to think of what he kind of reminds me of. He has like a lot of composure. Like he has kind of a lot of what Russell Wilson had, or another player in that division that had some success as a rookie was Andrew Luck. That's kind of what Andrew Luck and then Luck. But the kind of success that Andrew Luck had as a rookie with the composure and poise, you knew he was going to be good. CJ Stroud is showing that same type of composure. I love the fact that they had already built a pretty good running game already with Damon Pierce. Remember him coming out of Florida, physical runner. Right now, he's got 14 carries, 61 yards, looking real good. And then I love the fact that Stroud uses his legs sparingly. He's got 3 carries, 15 yards. Tank Dell, 2 carries, 13 yards. I think Tank Dell is a guy that is poised to be very good, along with Nico Collins, 4 receptions, 78 yards and a touchdown. So listen, man, this team is doing well. They're going down the field. They're showing a ton of confidence. You knew that this was going to happen with Coach Ryans coming over here from the 49ers. I'm really impressed with him. I'm hoping that he has success. I think that he definitely should have been a head coach in this league a long time ago, much like Coach Bieniemy, who's over in Washington, who's doing great things, right? This is the first time that I've actually seen the offense look this good in quite some time, since the Shanahans have been there. So kudos to Bieniemy, man. Like, I hope that at some point he gets to be a head coach. But going back to this game, and not to shift topics, but Houston all over the total yards at 271 to 111. Passing yards, 179 to 39 yards, which Kenny Pickett has struggled. I think he was a guy, if you're looking at fantasy football, they said to sit. Houston's got 92 yards running the football. Pittsburgh struggles with that offensive line. They have 72. No fumbles lost. There has been a 37 to 33 third down efficiency between the two teams. So that means Pittsburgh's been converted just slightly a little bit more to Houston, but that's why this game has kind of been going quickly, because it's been a lot of long drives that either have not been sustained by Pittsburgh, and then it's turned into some long drives for the Houston Texans, who they've been going down and taking care of business. As far as the discipline is concerned, you're looking at the penalties: 5 for Houston, 2 for Pittsburgh. Time of possession is going to Houston in this one, 18 to 16. So just like I said, both teams have been really kind of digging into the time of possession. So this is going to be one of those things where you're hoping that you don't run out of time. If you're Pittsburgh, you're going to need all the time you can get. So with that being said, guys, 28 to 7, Bears just dropped another one on the Broncos. Man, it is 4:11 to go in the third quarter. I'm thinking they might put up a 40 or 50 piece. They might put up a 40 or 50 piece, guys. So with that being said, that is today's preview show. I wanted to give you something there. We do have some more content coming up. I'm going to actually jump into the trade that took place between the Portland Trailblazers, the Phoenix Suns, and the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to be talking about who won that trade, why it was good for certain teams, what to look for going into the NBA season, as those camps are actually getting ready to conclude here shortly, as we're getting ready to push into October. Remember, the season starts here shortly. I'm kind of questioning if I'm going to renew some season tickets for myself, but we'll see about that. But with that being said, guys, man, let me thank the sponsors out there for putting some sponsorship on the show. Let me go ahead and thank the fans out there who have actually listened to us on a week-to-week basis and helped us, chirp on about these topics. And I just want to go ahead and once more thank Anchor and Spotify for being our platform for the podcast. And you can catch us on to YouTube as well. We are at Real Talk Sports with Rico. You can catch that, all the links here in the show notes. And so for myself, this is Rico, Real Talk Sports. I got a lot of content coming to you guys here within the next couple of days. I love you guys out there. I'll see you guys on the next one. And I am saying peace. Peace out, guys. I'll see you. Enjoy the games.